good. You're unmuted.
Yep. Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, we appreciate you coming out to the 18th Walk Through Black History program. I'm Ernest Jackson. I am not the pastor. Yep. I'm the moderator here at First Baptist Church. You know, our church motto is called Exploring Faith, Embracing Diversity, and Encouraging Hearts. So over the years with these programs, we've highlighted some famous people, some very little-known people, and some special events. Tonight, we highlight the life of Belle DeCosta Green. Peggy Jackson is our director, but this is a community-wide effort. The actors come from multiple churches around our community and from around the tri-state, so it's been a wonderful process of people building relationships as they've been learning the story and learning their part. So that's been what we call encouraging. So it's been encouraging to me to see what's happening in our community. And I want to thank all of you for attending today, right? It shows that our community is engaged and believes in learning about our own selves, right? All right, thank you. Yeah. So just a few things that I need to cover before we get started. In terms of if there's an emergency, there are 2 exits in the rear. There's access to the lower level in the back, and there's an exit behind me through the black curtain right here. And now, at this time, I'd like to ask everyone to put your phones on silent or vibrate or something, right? We want to make sure that we do that. All good? All right, let's give a warm welcome to our narrator, Miss Bridget Boone.
Well, what can I say that hasn't been said before? That I would do just about anything to achieve my dreams? Go as far as to masquerade and deceive those around me into a better life, better education, the ideal future? That I did it for the celebrity status and the notoriety, the fame? Well, some of that is true, but not all of it. I did it for other reasons also. Times were different, and they were harder. My people were considered subhuman. Now, you may be wondering what I'm talking about. It's a thing called passing. Passing is when one is able to move undetected between a culture or a community. It was a way of us providing ourselves the opportunities that wouldn't have been there elsewise. Some people went as far as to take their lightness and uplift other members of the Black community. I myself looked at it as a way of undermining a system that continuously kept Black people at a lower level in society. Now, some may like to talk about me and call me an Uncle Tom or say I'm selling out. I call it living as white. Now, though I do have some Black in me, I consider myself to be a predominantly white ancestry, as did many of my other counterparts. You have to understand, it was a point in time when, 1880, when my parents, now mind you, I've had a long career, darling. It's been a good one, too. But as I said, it was a way of undermining a system that kept black people at a lower level in society. Now, some may say that they want to call me an Uncle Tom or say I'm selling out, but I call it as living as predominantly white. Though I do have black in me, I do consider myself to be of white ancestry. You know, one would say it's hard to know if you ever fit in or where you fit in. Good evening. My name is Belle Marion Greener, and I was born on November 26, 1879, to Richard T. Greener and Genevieve Ida Fleet. My parents listed me as black on my birth certificate, and they believed that times were changing, and it wouldn't hinder me at having a better life. However, in 1880, my parents listed me and my siblings as white. In 1880, white, black, and mulatto, they were all options, as were Chinese and Italian. You know, like many states, the District of Columbia did not have a legal definition of what race was. So it left for cultural assumption as to who was black and who was white. Hopefully, after hearing my story today, you will understand why I chose the way I did.
December 8th, 1905, New York, New York.
Uncle Pierpont, it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Belle DaCosta Green.
It's an honor, sir.
Did you have a chance to research the Rembrandt etchings?
I did, Uncle Pierpont.
Well, let's hear it. I can't promise you that I'll buy them, but I'm always willing to listen.
Uncle, I do believe that Rembrandt conveys more of the humanity of his subjects in his etchings than in his paintings. And in that way, they are uniquely valuable, and not just in monetary terms.
A real beauty. DaCosta.
It's a family name. My grandmother is Portuguese.
I know what Junius thinks of the etchings, but I wonder what you think, Miss Green. What do you think of acquiring the Vanderbilt Rembrandt?
Well, unlike his contemporaries, Rembrandt did all the work of the etchings himself, from enticing the lines on the copper plate with various needles to submerging the plate in the appropriate chemical afterward. It wasn't an easy means to publicize his more famous oil paintings as his contemporaries did. Now, from that perspective, one may say that Rembrandt's artworks were masterpieces done by a genius himself. The etching is remarkable, Mr. Pierpont, as will be the Pierpont Morgan Library if I am chosen as librarian.
If you acquire Mr. Vanderbilt's collection, you will possess the world's largest collection of Rembrandt etchings. Displayed all together, they will give collectors and scholars an unprecedented access and opportunity to study the genius of the old master's skill.
Why do you think I should hire you? I've interviewed lots of men who are older than you. I've interviewed men who have much more experience than you. Why would you make the Pierpont Morgan Library unparalleled?
Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Morgan. It is true I am different than your other candidates in experience, age, and gender. But my inexperience means that I do not come with any hash or stained image as to what the Pierpont Morgan Library should be. Instead, my vision is endless. My age means that I have boundless amounts of time and undivided energy to devote to you and your collection. And my passion for rare manuscripts and early prints means that I will work relentless to accommodate the ideal items to make your library unrivaled. Of course, while learning about the marketplace and bidding from you while I do so. And may I add, Mr. Morgan, the fact that I am a woman means that every time I walk into a room, everyone's eyes will be on me, which is exactly what the Pierpont Morgan Library deserves.
So, would you make my library incomparable? I was thinking if you acquire the Lamort d'Artour by the printer William Caxton, I hope that's on your list of possible acquisitions. You are very impressive, Belle DaCosta Green.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. If given the chance, I will work relentlessly to make your library unrivaled. It will become the masterpiece you deserve.
1906. The Vanderbilt mansion was surrounded by women in extraordinary gowns, gleaming with crystals and pearls, and men in white tie formal wear. Belle presents the butler with her invitation. He squints, as if he can see right through her. His stare makes Belle tense, and her mind scrolls through her mother's instructions. Stand tall, square shoulders, glance steady, never waver. The butler's eyes stayed on her. Belle's heart began to pound as his gaze shifted from her to the invitation. Once again, she hears her mother's voice. Be cautious. Never do anything to stand out. She began walking around the room. Seeing her second person of color, the server, Belle accepts the champagne. She begins glancing around the room, walking, showing confidence, smiling, and making eye contact. She walks and crosses the room, taking in the room's breathtaking view. She notices the black waiter that gave her the champagne looking at her as if she sees through her. She weaves through the guests. The server continues looking at her as if she knew her secret. Belle, thinking to herself,
Does my deceit anger her? Will she reveal my true identity? Am I going to lose everything I've worked for?
she once again begins hearing her mother's voice in her head. If you see any colored people, stand tall. Don't make eye contact. If eye contact is made, only acknowledge with a nod and then turn away. She does just as her mother said. The server nods at her and continues to serve, weaving through the guests. She begins to move in away from the crowd when she hears,
Miss Green. It is Miss Green, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
It's a pleasure to see you out of the library.
It's a pleasure to be out of the library, if I don't say so myself.
You look lovely. Nothing at all like a librarian.
Well, just because I'm a librarian doesn't mean I need to dress like one.
Of course.
There is more to me than meets the male eye.
That is an exquisite hat.
I don't doubt that you say that to all the ladies, but I like it just the same.
I see you've met some of my enemies.
Oh, Mr. Morgan, I've always considered you a friend and an occasional client.
Do you deceive all your friends?
Swindle.
Swindle.
Oh. Is this the man that tried to sell you the flawed Mozart manuscript?
He's the one.
No need to worry about that, Mr. Morgan.
Why is that, Miss Green?
Because the next time we do business, I will be there to authenticate the antiquity of any piece that tries to come through the Pierpont Morgan Library. And should one come through our doors that does not muster up to par, which of course would be no fault of Mr. Smithson's, I will stop it before it ever reaches your desk.
Excellent, Miss Green.
Isn't that right, Mr. Smithson?
It would be my honor to do business again with you, Mr. Morgan, and you as well, Miss Green.
You played him very well. You speak as no one else. My friends who are men don't speak as well as you. My son doesn't speak as well as you. Let's wander around the room and see if we can find some more of my enemies.
everyone with their bags.
Mother, are you all right?
Of course, just a little tired, a bit concerned, but I'll be fine. Just let me get some rest.
Okay. Just let me know if you need anything. I'll be sitting right there.
Thank you, dear.
All aboard!
Well, this trip seemed a lot longer than I had anticipated. Would anyone, you know what? Time will go a little faster if we play some cards. Anyone want to play Go Fish with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
No.
I'll go first. Ooh. All right, Teddy, give me your hearts.
Hey, Ethel, give me your hearts.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
Thank you.
You know, it seems sort of strange that we're going to DC. When was the last time we went there?
At least 10 years.
It's been 12. I was 16 the last time that we went. We used to go a lot more, but then we just stopped.
Russell, what are you doing? There you go cheating. I thought you were a good card player. Here you've been cheating all along.
What do you mean? What did I do?
I saw you take all those cards from them. You're not supposed to be pulling yet. It wasn't even your turn. It was Teddy's turn.
You got me all wrong. You mean it wasn't my turn?
No. Oh, that's okay. I tell you. I'm getting bored with cards also. Let's just sit and talk.
That's fine. You're getting kind of loud anyway. Mama is trying to sleep.
Anyway, Belle, why did we stop going to D.C.?
We stopped going because Papa left. After he left, we couldn't afford it. Don't you remember how we struggled so before Mama's career as a music instructor started off?
Oh, I guess I try not to think about it. But I wonder where Papa is.
I don't care where the hell he is.
Russell, that is not nice.
I could say the same thing about what Dad did. That wasn't nice.
Now, Russell, what Dad did or did not do, he is still our father.
I don't remember DC, and I only have a few strong memories of Papa.
Oh, she was very young.
Next stop, Washington, D.C.
Oh, all right, everyone, get your things. Russell, help everyone with their bags.
Yes, Mother.
Nope, Russell. We'll be leaving through the rear.
Okay, Mother.
Fellow passengers began staring at them, noticing that they came from Belle noticed that her mother looked concerned, but her uncle informed her mother not to worry. All was well. Looking around the room, Uncle Mozart asked,
Well, where's everybody else at?
Oh, they're just around back, fetching the luggage from the carriage. They'll be right in.
What, is that Russell? Oh my goodness, he's got so big. Russell, go ahead and put the luggage around the side of the house. We got cake and iced tea ready for you in the kitchen. Come on in, come on in. Quick, let me get your jackets. I know that train ride must have been mighty long.
Oh, indeed it was.
Damn, get comfortable. Have a seat.
Sit. I mean, if that brown sofa over there ain't too dark for y'all.
Minerva, what's gotten into you, girl? That ain't no way to be talking to family.
What? What you expect me to do? Just sit here and ignore the fact that our own sister has turned her back on us?
Oh,
That's not what I've done.
So it ain't, huh?
No. I'm still a fleet.
Could have fooled me. You don't act like it. And how dare you wouldn't even let your own brother come visit?
No, that's not how it was. I thought he'd stop coming because Richard was no longer around.
No, he stopped coming because y'all considered yourself whack. So he thought it'd be best to stay away. And you never much really invited him anyway, so he didn't think you wanted him to come visit.
Look,
right?
That's right.
You don't know what it's like in New York. I was abandoned with 5 children, abandoned by the father of my children. You don't know what it's like in New York, Minerva. I did what I had to do for my family.
I don't understand. No, it's you who doesn't understand. We told you that you always had a place here, Jenny. You could have come home at any time and we would have welcomed you with open arms.
This neighborhood, this place, it's not always going to be the same. These blatant attacks on colored folks, black people, it's just a burden I didn't want my children to have to shoulder.
Okay. Let's calm down. Let's have a seat and have a conversation. Have a seat. Now look, I'm going to be honest. I don't agree with everything Genevieve was saying. But what I do know is Mama would not want us talking like this in her house. There was so much positive that we could focus on. I mean, look what she's doing with her daughter. Belle is working with none other than J.P. Morgan himself.
J.P. Morgan? Don't nobody care about no J.P. Morgan. That's why they think they better than us now. Something about working for J.P. Morgan.
Let's focus on the positive. Mama wants us to focus on family. And this week, that's exactly what we're doing. Let's focus on what's bringing us closer together rather than what's driving us apart. This week, let's try to make it positive. Go ahead and hug your sister. Go ahead. Come on.
I'm surprised to see you here, sir.
Surprised? It's time to congratulate you, Belle. Not only did you secure the precious Caxton for me, but I heard you're the toast of the town.
I did procure the Caxton.
That's an understatement. You grabbed the Caxton away from a scoundrel. He came into town and tried to steal all my stuff.
Well, I'm glad you're pleased.
I'm very pleased. How many years has it been, Belle?
5, Mr. Morgan.
Is that the Caxton in your hands?
Yes, it is. One day a king will come and a sword will rise again.
You've done it, Belle. This calls for a toast. I've been saving that bottle for you and me for a long time. I knew this wonderful day would come. There'll be a write-up in every paper in New York tomorrow.
Really? About your triumph, yes.
My triumph? It's your triumph. The beautiful young librarian for James P. Morgan. It's an American success story. And that's not all. Your fame will extend all over New York. There will be articles about you in newspapers from London to Chicago.
chose. December 1913.
Jack, I can't thank you enough. Knowing that we're going to be able to keep the collection together is, it just keeps your father's legacy alive.
This is a key step in creating the larger meaning that Papa and I discussed, and I'm glad to hear it. We shall maintain the core collection here, the books and the manuscripts, the treasures you deem most important.
Thank you, Jack. I was sad in thinking I'd have to sell off much of the collection that your father and I acquired together, but knowing that I can keep it intact, it's just deliverance.
Jack? Jack? Jack, are you here?
We're in Belle's office.
I knew you were back, so I went to your house to welcome you home, and they told me you came here first. Why here?
Well, it couldn't wait. I had some good news to share with Belle.
You mean it couldn't keep until tomorrow? You've just gotten off a transatlantic voyage. You must be tired.
The library will survive, in my role as guardian of the books and manuscripts as well. Belle has agreed to stay on and help manage the library. I feel it's a fitting tribute to Father. You know, Father always, what brought him the deepest pleasure was reading the voice of the past, collecting the books and touching the letters and manuscripts.
Jack, you're so right. Those letters and documents and manuscripts, they created a connection between your father and I. I believe that each one of them had their own personalities, that the more that we read, the more we would understand the world. But the more we read, the more questions we had.
Well, I've delivered the news. I think I shall go home for dinner. Jesse's probably waiting. Belle, are you coming?
I'll be there. I'll catch up with you. I'd like a word alone with Belle first. Well, Belle, I won't pretend that I like you. As a matter of fact, I think you had my father wrapped around your little finger, and I don't like what you turned him into during his final years.
Anne, your father was not a pushover. He was a force of nature. I was hired to do one job, which was his bidding.
Belle, don't take me for a fool. I don't know how you did it, but you found a way to bend my father to your will when nobody else could.
Anne, I know that you had a busy life, and that left little time for your father. And you believe that what you're saying is true, but I never had that capability over him.
Really, none of what I'm saying has any bearing on what I want to tell you. I understand you become friends with Bessie.
Friends, no, but we're not enemies either. We do see each other from time to time, and we are cordial.
Were you aware that my father hated Bessie? Bessie was being offered the French Legion of Honor a couple of years before my father died. It was for her work representing French playwrights. She clearly deserved that award, but my father interfered and made sure she did not receive it. You see, my father was suspicious of our relationship. He felt this was a way of punishing her. He wanted a way to punish me for not being the daughter he always wanted. He was always comparing me to Juliet or Louisa.
I'm so sorry, Anne. I didn't know.
My father and I did not always see eye to eye, but no matter what, I still loved him. It did not matter to me how many fallings out we had, nor did it matter what he thought about me.
And your father loved you in his own way.
Yes, I suppose you're correct. He did leave me with enough money so I can live my life as I please and support causes without needing to get married. I am indebted to him for that. You know, Bessie told me I got you all wrong. Not that I'm saying I agree with her. For the most part, I disagree, of course. One thing I do know is that I can't continue my father's legacy with our public disparity in our political and social views. You are the right person for the job with your expertise and your loyalty to my father's vision. With that being said, I want you to know you have my full support as a librarian for the Pierpont Morgan Library, no matter who you really are. I know, I probably shouldn't ask. Something is telling me to let it end right here, but I really want to know.
How did you find out about me? Who told you my secret?
You, Anne. Belle, you, Belle. I had always suspected, but you just confirmed it for me. No need to worry, Belle. I know how it feels to be judged by society. It's very painful and lonely. Because the world is not ready to accept us, we have to live with a painful secret. It's sad that neither of us have been able to live our lives as our true selves. We have to continue to play a role just so society can accept us, keeping our true identities hidden. I hope that we can keep our secrets from this point on.
Yes, Anne. Our secrets are safe with us.
She realized that she had not seen her father in years. Now would be a good time for her to meet up with her father in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois, 1914.
Here's your menu, sir.
Thank you.
Are you expecting anybody else in your party?
Yes, one person should be coming soon.
Okay.
My daughter. Bill, how are you? It's been a long time. Please sit down.
May I get you something, ma'am?
Coffee.
Coming right up.
Bill, you've traveled the world collecting rare manuscripts and artwork, and I've been overjoyed following your conquests. But you know, I think it was the article in the Chicago Tribune that I was most proud of. When you won the auction for the Caxton Lamort d'Artour, what a triumph. The paper barely captured your scholarly achievements. To be able to have your life's work collecting artwork, it's something I would have done if it was available to me after I left Harvard. What a gift.
A gift you gave me. You were the one who introduced me to the beauty of art and the importance of the written word and its history.
Yes, I'm just so pleased that you were able to follow what you loved. I just wish...
What?
But Papa,
I just wish I was there with you. I wish I was able to be by your side and not end up in Russia.
No need to wish. You were the one who planted the seeds to my career.
Well, that may be true, but you're the one that cultivated them. I've followed your career and all the successes you've had, and you've had more opportunity, you've had more success than any colored woman that in history. And you've certainly had more opportunity that's even available to a person like me, a colored person like me. But that's the price, isn't it? Is you've had to pretend to be somebody you're not. You know, I saw your picture in the New York Times, and I was so proud. But at the same time, I was so profoundly sad because I realized that in order to achieve your dream, you had to forsake your core identity. You know, you can change your name, that's easy, but changing your soul, that's impossible.
You don't approve, do you?
It's not a question of approval. Society forced those choices upon you. There were no good choices for you or for your mother. And who am I to be the judge of the decisions that you've made?
Well, since Mr. Morgan died, I feel so lost. And I can't help but wonder if I'd feel this way if I had made a different decision. I'm asking myself, was the sacrifice worth all this success? It's a relief to start saying this out loud.
Belle, you're more authentic than anyone I know. You've led a life of meaning. It's just unfortunate that you've had to do it as a white person. I wish you knew about a time, it was a brief time during Reconstruction, when a colored man or a colored woman could stand tall and thrive, regardless of the color of their skin.
I know, Papa.
You know, I also hope you understand why I couldn't abandon the fight for civil rights, for equal rights. I couldn't continue to live in two worlds. I couldn't continue to pretend to be a white man. I couldn't pretend to be the father of a white family. I found that the best way to protect the family was for me to go and continue the fight for equal rights. All I've wanted for you children was a brighter future. I still believe in this country that we can have equality. And I'm hoping that one day everybody can achieve their dreams and do it regardless of race.
I wish I had your hope, Papa. I really do. But that's why I'm so conflicted. I know that this life that I live is false at its core, but though I yearn for another one, we live in this world, and I just hope you're not too disappointed in me.
Belle, I could never be disappointed in you. I'm just disappointed that with all the success you've had and to live your life, you've had to do it as a white woman. I'm fighting for a time when you can have that success and do it as a colored person.
But I'm not living my life openly as a colored person. And I'm starting to wonder if I should be. Should I come forth with the truth and serve as an example as you did?
Belle, all I've wanted for my children is the opportunity for them to soar, regardless of their heritage, to lead a life of meaning. And I think with laws and society today, maybe just living a life of meaning is enough. You know, it breaks my heart to say that I don't think you can have both. I don't think you can have a life of meaning, and I don't think you do it as a colored person. But I do believe this. One day we're going to be able to reach back through the past, through the decades, and claim you as one of our own. That you're going to be held up as an example to white people, as something we can achieve. So just continue to live your life proudly. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Papa.
Stay with me. Where's Christine? Get Christine. Go get Christine. Yeah. Congratulations. Glory, hallelujah. Every praise, every praise. All right, if we can stop the music a second. How about a round of applause again for the cast and their production? Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, this is a community-wide initiative. It takes a lot of engagement from those actors, from people building sets for the stages, for that technology group back there that keeps us linked up. It's just been a wonderful process. This is the first program that we've done since the pandemic, so we're really glad to be back. Do you want us doing this again next year? Thank you. Thank you. We're going to keep it going. At this time, I want to recognize a couple people. First, if they would come forward, Peggy Jackson, our director, and Christine Quintana, the assistant director. Yeah, she's still working. Thank you. Raise it up, let us see. Yeah. We're waiting on Peggy's assistant, Christine Quintana. We need to get her in the spotlight for a minute. But we have a meal that we're serving downstairs, so we'd like for you to stay and fellowship with us. That's one of the things, especially those of you that are part of churches. We are trying to build stronger relationships across our community. This is just one of the ways to do that, right? So as we grow, we can spend time with each other. So I'm going to pray for a minute. I'm going to pray for the meal and for all those that are going to stay and fellowship with us, and then I'll get Christine to come up here. God, we thank you for this time of this play, this program, to just let us share a little bit about the history of this country and the people in this country. We recognize that Black history is far beyond February, and we pray that we're able to see the scope and the breadth of all people in this country and their contributions to this country and the contributions to your world. Lord, we ask that you bless the meal, that it will energize us, inspire us to be united as we grow. We know that that is a tough challenge, Lord, but we ask that you give us that energy to continue to fight for those things that are good. All these things in your Son's name we pray. Amen? Amen. Christine, you have to come forward. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate what you're doing. All right? Good. All right. All right. You can follow Christine downstairs if you're going to. Thank you. Good job.